Today is Tuesday, November 4th, 2025, and this meeting of the State Board of Elections will be called to order. Madam Secretary, will you call the roll?
Chairwoman Johnson.
Present.
Vice Chairman DeSimone. Member Becker.
Here.
Member Connors.
Present.
Member Giacalone.
Present.
Member Rhoda.
Present.
Member Scholl.
Present.
Executive Director Miguel Nunez.
Present.
Legal Counsel Raymond Garcia.
Present.
Thank you. And agenda item number 1, the board may discuss and vote to approve. Thank you. The board may discuss and vote to approve the minutes of the meeting of October 8th, 2025. We have received the minutes. I trust everyone's had a chance to review, so can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
I'm just recusing myself.
And one recusal. Motion passes. Agenda item number 2, the board may discuss and vote to approve the minutes of the meeting of October 14th, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Abstention.
And one abstention.
No, two.
2 abstentions. All others in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
And
Agenda
I believe,
item-
Madam Chair,
Yes,
it's
sir.
an abstention for the first motion, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Both
Yeah.
of them, I was
Yeah.
unsure.
Yes.
Not a,
Thank you. Yeah, sorry. Wrong word. Yep.
You're on. We missed you. Agenda item number 3, the board may hear and consider any election matter that requires an immediate ruling or determination arising from special election for Central Falls School Board and special primary for Providence City Council Ward 2. Director?
Madam Chair and members of the board, I can report to the board that I do have one issue to report to the board that may or may not require an immediate ruling or determination in today's special primary in Providence Council Ward 2. I have no similar issue to report in the Central Falls School Board election, however. As I had previously informed you, today at 11:19 this morning, I was contacted by Jordan Mickman, the Unit Chief of the Civil and Community Rights Division of the Office of the Attorney General. And apparently they had received a complaint from a voter claiming that they received a mailing indicating they were to vote at the Nathan Bishop School, when in fact that location is closed today. The correspondence from the Attorney General's office also asked if there was a resolution planned in such a case, such as extending the polling place hours. Now, upon further investigation by the staff, it has been confirmed that the Providence Board of Canvassers, although they did send a mailing this past summer in relation to this special election in Ward 2, that mailing did not include the Nathan Bishop School because that location serves Ward 3, does not serve Ward 2, where today's special election is being held for the City Council. Now, this is to speculate, but it is possible that this voter, who is unnamed, is actually could be a newly registered voter in Ward 3, and they received an acknowledgement letter from the Board of Canvassers indicating that their default polling place is Nathan Bishop School. It's also possible that this voter received a mailing in the summer of 2024, which was mailed out by the Providence Board of Canvassers, informing them that their assigned polling place for the 2024 statewide primary and the 2024 presidential election was Nathan Bishop School. In either case, voting is not occurring at Nathan Bishop today because the location does not serve Ward 2, where the special election is happening today as we speak. So at 12:49 p.m., I did respond to Mr. Mickman with the staff findings and a copy of that recent mailing, which was sent out by the Board of Canvassers, which you have a copy of, and a copy of that email. And I have not received a response from their office as of this meeting. I will note that the Providence Board of Canvassers has reported an uptick in calls from voters who are seeing national coverage of elections occurring in other states, and they may have been confused thinking that they should be voting today as well. And I will note that our staff here at the Board of Elections has really received at least 24 phone calls in similar nature today from voters as well. So based on the findings of the staff in this matter, we do not recommend any additional action at this time. However, that would be the final determination of the board. Otherwise, the election has run smoothly. Our technician was made aware of an issue at the Knights of Columbus polling place in Central Falls, where they did open at 7:17 a.m. today due to the poll workers either not reporting for duty or arriving late. However, this did not cause a significant disruption. Apparently, only 11 voters have cast their ballot in this location as of a few minutes before this meeting. In Providence, our technician did have to go out to the Laurel Mead DS200, which was rejecting ballots due to a scanner issue. The issue appeared to have been resolved earlier today, but that same technician is actually on their way to that polling location now as we speak to troubleshoot the issue, which has presented itself again. Essentially, the ballot gets rejected from the machine back to the voter saying that it cannot scan it. So that technician will troubleshoot that or replace the unit as needed. That location does have two DS200s, and the other one is working perfectly and has not had any issues. So there has not been any disruption to voting there at the Laurel Mead location. And overall, as of just a few minutes ago, 1,659 of the 9,512 eligible voters in Providence Ward 2 have thus far cast a ballot, which is just over 17.4% of a turnout. 199 voted during the early voting period at Providence City Hall, which ended yesterday, as you know, at 4 p.m. Now, that busiest polling place in Providence Ward 2 thus far has been the Temple Bethel location with 751 voters. Now, as far as mail ballots in Providence, we did receive 234 of the 271 mail ballots, which were requested by voters in that ward. 37 of those ballots are still outstanding, have not been received yet. Thus far, one voter's ballot has been deemed deficient, and this voter was notified that they do have until November 7th, which is Friday at 4 p.m., to cure the issue in order to have their ballot counted. Over in Central Falls, 253 of the 8,532 eligible voters have voted for an approximate turnout of just over 2.9%. 31 voters cast their ballot during the early voting period up until the 4 p.m. yesterday. The busiest polling place in Central Falls thus far, as of a few minutes ago, has been Foran Manor with 38 voters in total. In Central Falls, in terms of mail ballots, we have received back here at the Board of Elections 147 of the 271 mail ballots which were requested by voters. We still have 124 ballots still outstanding that we have not received back. We will complete the tabulation. We have completed the tabulation of all the mail ballots that have been received by us. We completed that this afternoon, which was publicly noticed last week. Thus far, 8 of these voters' mail ballots have been deemed deficient, and those voters have a little bit longer than in Providence. They have until November 11th at 4 p.m. Due to it being a general election to cure the issue and have their ballots counted. In total, the staff, the board staff had 2 members out in the field today to support these 6 polling locations in both cities. I do not have any other equipment issues to report to the board. The staff will remain in the field until the close of the polls at 8 p.m. and here at our facility until all unofficial results have been received and published. Excuse me. As usual, we will begin receiving results from the polling place and early voting sites shortly after 8 p.m. and all results will be viewable on our website. This concludes my Election Day report on the Providence Council Ward 2 in Central Falls School Board election, and I am happy to answer any questions from the board.
Thanks, Miguel.
I have one question, Miguel. I voted Laurel Mead, and this morning was rather light. Do you have a number on people who have actually voted there?
I think we have it up on the board here. Right there, yeah. 424.
Okay, right. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Yes, Commissioner Connors.
Miguel, I wanted to circle back with the complaint that came over from Mr. Mickman. In his message, he said that he received a complaint that voters received letters. Do you know, did he indicate to you that more than one voter received a letter like this, or?
No, he has not responded, and I haven't gotten any word back on the identity of the person. So we could, if I knew the identity of the individual, I could verify where they're registered, which is something we would easily do over the phone if they had called us directly. Unfortunately, they called that office, and they were responding to that contact that they had with the voter. So I don't know any specifics about how many, if there's more than one that are involved in this.
Okay.
Miguel, with respect to this Providence matter, we should just create a record so that the board, so there's a record of what was before the board. I see we have the notices that went out to these polling, on these polling places. What else do we have? So we have these 3 documents here, the
Correct.
official mailing.
The 3 distinct postcards for each location.
Yeah.
That were sent to those households assigned to those locations for this special election. And then we have the correspondence that we received from the Attorney General's office.
And as far as you said, the staff investigation, is there anything else from the staff investigation that you want to make part of the record?
No, that's the extent of our investigation. We wanted to confirm that there wasn't a mailing sent out by the Board of Canvassers that would have indicated that. And we confirmed as such that they did not send a postcard or any type of notification to them with the Nathaniel Nathan Bishop School as a eligible polling location.
So, Madam Chair, I do think that we should mark as Board Exhibit 1, the 3-page document show the official election mailings. And then for Board Exhibit 2, the document that is email correspondence between the director and the Attorney General's office.
We need a motion and a vote to enter those.
I think you should take the vote just having those entered as part of the record.
Okay, great.
I think
Did you make
make
a
a
motion?
motion
You're
to
making a motion.
accept Ray's recommendation.
I'll second.
Thank you. Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, abstentions? Okay. And we don't have to vote on anything else. Okay. Moving on to agenda item number 4, the board may discuss and vote to reduce penalties imposed upon Jonathan Joseph Keith under Rhode Island General Laws 17-25 and to suspend their campaign finance account for good cause pursuant to Rhode Island Rules and Regulations 410-RICR-10-00-14, campaign finance accounts receivable, reduction of penalties, and suspension of campaign account. And before you go, Rick, just let the record show that Vice Chair DeSimone has joined us.
Thank you. All right. Good afternoon, members of the board. The first matter is that of Jonathan Joseph Keith. This matter is continued from the October 8th board meeting. Mr. Keith ran for school committee in 2014, ran for state senate in 2016, 2018, and 2020. In the 2020 election, Mr. Keith failed to file any of the campaign finance reports required for that candidacy. As of today, November 4th, based on the outstanding reports, the fines and fees have accumulated to $46,016. Based on the regulation that was adopted by the board, that would place him in category 2, where he registered as a candidate for public office, filed a declaration of candidacy, and qualified for placement on the ballot, but failed to file one or more campaign finance reports due within the election cycle to which the candidate declared candidacy, and he remains active with the board. So the board has, according to the regulation, may vote to reduce the fine to a maximum of $1,000 per delinquent report due to the second election cycle, next following in the election cycle in which the candidate last filed a declaration of candidacy. And also, the board may vote to suspend all remaining penalties and fees and suspend the candidate's campaign account. Initially, on October 8th, I had, although we had not proceeded that far, my recommendation at that time, or staff recommendation, the maximum fine could be the $20,000, which would be 20 reports times the maximum of $1,000 per report. Absent of any kind of filing, my recommendation was to stay with that $20,000. However, in the interim between October 8th and this meeting, I mined through emails that I had in my inbox, and I had communicated with Mr. Keith following the 2020 election that, in fact, his reports were outstanding, and what he needed to do to cure the outstanding issues, the amount of fines, provided him the forms to do so, and indicated that he had a pathway to appeal the fines provided the reports were filed. He did not do that. So I have the fact that I have in my possession an email from him where he stated he did not raise or spend any money, but yet failed to file the reports to officially designate that. My recommendation has actually been lowered to $2,000, which would be just the 4 election reports times $500 per report. But that be provided he file those reports and dissolve his account within 30 days. Otherwise, the fine would stand at the 20 reports, consistent with the regulation, times $250 a report, or $5,000. Again, Mr. Keith would benefit from filing the reports. His fine would be established at $2,000. Just to further, I did look back when he ran in 2020, and we provided informational packets at the Board of Canvassers in West Warwick. Mr. Keith did sign for a packet. Within that packet is information that indicates that he is subject to the Campaign Finance Act, where he needs to file a notice of organization with the board upon filing his declaration of candidacy or before receiving any contribution or incurring any expenses, whichever came first. It also states that office holders and candidates must file the appropriate campaign finance reports, even if no money is raised or spent in pursuit of being elected to public office, or if the only money spent is that from his own funds. Also, I have non-compliance letters that were sent to him during that campaign that were sent to the address that he declared from, as well as the email communication that I had with him.
Thank you, Rick. And I know we heard this at the last meeting, so procedurally, I know you chaired, I'm not sure
I can tell you
where
that
we go
I
from here.
have provided you with a legal memo that addresses Mr. Keith's challenge. The vice chair did ask that I provide a response to Mr. Keith, which I did before the meeting, several days before the meeting, that summarized what I provided to you. I could not find any basis for the claim that Mr. Keith had, which is that no filing obligations arise until and unless you raise money or spend money. That's not how Chapter 25 is designed. It's designed to make sure that you do file as soon as you become a candidate for elected office, and those filings are on a 90-day basis, unless we're closer to the election, in which case it will be 28 days and 7 days before the election, as well as 28 days after the election. There are no exceptions to that, except you can request under a Form CF5
Correct.
that you declare, at least back in 2020, that you would be raising and receiving less than $1,000, and that there will be no donations in excess of $100 that you receive. in which case you would do a summary report at the end. But as far as the claim that that the statute is not triggered until you raise money there's just no basis for that.
Madam Chair, can I
Yes,
just ask
please.
a
Yes,
question?
please do.
Ray, first of all, thank you, and thank you for doing that so quickly. Could you just for myself and for the applicant, if you could just address the issue that he raised with regard to Form CR7 that he filed?
The
He
CR,
raised that in his papers.
and what was the form that he was, what was his position on that?
CF7.
Yep, CF7
CF7.
form is the affidavit dissolving campaign account. Mr.
That,
Keith,
but that was for 28, that's what he did in 2018, which was perfectly fine. And that then terminated all of his statutory duties, reporting obligations for any campaign activity that existed as of that time. Our definition of candidate is very, very broad. It's not just activity for, but preliminary activity is also contemplated under our definition. So once he started doing so for the 2020 election, whatever he did before in the dissolution really didn't matter. He now was involved in another campaign that then had associated reporting requirements as well.
Thank you.
Yes.
yes, yes.
Commissioner Jacko, yeah.
I just had a quick question, right? In the second page, in the second full paragraph, you start by saying, legal argument presented can be severally dispatched based on Chapter 25, Title 17. You say each candidate must file a notice of organization with the board. So when Mr. Keith indicated that he was going to run for the office, it's not like it's an option to file that notice according
It
to
isn't.
law.
That's under 1725-8, I believe. That's right.
Okay. Thank you.
You probably have a mouthful.
Sorry, do you
Go ahead.
mind? I was trying to take really quick notes. In the part that you were saying, the staff recommendation, so the recommendation is $2,000 if within 30 days the reports are cured, right?
That's correct. If 4 reports are filed and the account is dissolved.
Okay, and then you mentioned $250 at one point, and I was trying to write
Correct.
really
If,
quick. but I can't.
Failure to comply with the reporting requirement,
Got it,
then basically the 20 reports at $250 would be triggered,
Got it.
resulting in a $5,000 fine.
thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else on the board? Yes, Commissioner Connors.
Question for our council. Under that 1725A, it does go on further to say that they must file the notice of organization, but it says before receiving any contribution or expending any money. So to your knowledge, has this ever been challenged before? Has anyone ever
No,
been through?
no,
this?
to my knowledge, it hasn't. And remember, when you look at Section 8, you also have to look at Section 11. So you have to look at this whole chapter together. And this is 1725-8 is one part of it. But then the filing requirements are actually set forth under 1725-11. There's really no room for the option of not filing. They're all mandated, with the exception of someone who wants to opt out with the CF5 with an affidavit saying, I will not raise more than this amount and receive more than this amount of cash. That's really the only way you can opt out of it. But 8 does speak, and it's mandatory language. 1725-8 does speak of, in A, each candidate in an election shall file a notice of organization. And then when you couple that with requirements under 1725-11, which speaks to a declared or undeclared candidate needing to file 90-day reports, as well as reports 28 days preceding the election, as well as reports 7 days before the election, as well as reports 28 days following the election. There's really no room for ambiguity on this, in my judgment.
Just one other question. And Ray, those reports can be as simply as zeros.
People do that. But the system is designed not to have the candidate make that determination. The system is designed to have our office have oversight and an attestation as to what you're doing. If you're saying that you can't just make that determination yourself, you have to attest that that is what has occurred, and then there's a record of it that can be challenged if needed.
Do you know if we have our own regulations anywhere that also speak to this?
We do have an entire regulatory process for the reporting of the requirements. I can't answer that off the top of my head as to whether they speak to anything more specific than that, but that, the regulation, the statute, they all speak to the 90, the 20, and the 7. Rick may have some dealing with that more recently than I have, but I've never encountered anybody who's claimed that they don't have the obligation to file
And
these.
again, the communication that comes out from our office notifies the candidate that they have the obligation to file, even if, again, we inform them that the public doesn't know that you're not raising and spending money unless you let them know. And that you are still required to file even if there is no activity. And you must continue filing until you dissolve your account with the board.
Which he knew how to do and which he did in 2018.
It did in 3 prior elections, yes.
Say, Rick, has he filed the affidavit under the CF5?
He has not, no.
And I take it he has not filed any reports since the last meeting?
That's correct.
You indicated that we're going to fine him for filing 4 reports. What about the prior 16? What's this basis of him not filing those 16 reports?
Well, again, part of my recommendations influenced by the email communication that I did receive from him. Absent that, my recommendation would be higher, but I am sitting on an email from him where he has acknowledged to me that he raised and spent 0. So again, that's not an official attestation by filing the reports, but I want to give him the opportunity to do so and therefore mitigate the fine that's accumulated for him.
But at that time, when you sent him that email, he had the obligation to file a report, but he didn't.
That's correct.
So you notified him, hey, file a report, and he refused to do it.
That's correct.
Yes.
So, Rick, if I can just go off what Commissioner Schultz asked, when did you receive that email from him saying that he?
Yeah, it was right after the 2020 election. The email came in on January 4th, 2021. I responded back to him the next day, January 5, 2021. I gave him an accounting of the 4 reports, and at that point, only 3 were in arrears at that point, and he owed just $239. So again, had he cured the filing at that point, we wouldn't be here.
Did you receive anything after that email?
Did not.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
One more question.
Yes, of course.
Rick, based on your new recommendation, have you had any contact with Mr. Keith regarding that?
No, I did not. I didn't communicate the new recommendation to Mr. Keith. I thought it would be more prudent to present the recommendation to the board before I did
Okay,
the candidate.
thank you.
And is Mr. Keith here?
He is.
Okay. Have we prepared to hear from him as well? Is that good with the board? Yeah, come on up. Just gotta push the. Hi,
How are you?
yes, good.
Thank you so much for taking the time, and thank you, Ray, for reaching out to me last Friday and giving me your findings. To actually all the points that you've made, you can kind of see, especially in the middle of COVID, how I got a little confused prior to the law passing in 2022 that gave a clear pathway to reopen a once dissolved account. So I looked at it as I closed the account. It was legally closed. It was accepted at the board. I had no obligations to file. And if I had raised any money, I would then be in violation, but I didn't. So I didn't think that it applied to me. That was the misunderstanding, and that was what I tried to relay in the writings, was that even up until 2022, they had to pass legislation to give a clear path to reopen a dissolved account. So I didn't know that the board had authority to open an account on my behalf without my knowledge.
Any,
But you received notice from the board, didn't you?
When I was late, yes.
Yeah, and how come you
After I
didn't,
was late. And then
how come you didn't respond then?
I was purchasing a house, if you want to be frank. I mean, I was in the middle of a lot. I was remote learning, remote working, purchasing a home. It was 2021. And I finally, when I settled in the house, that's when I reached out. And I said, I haven't had time. I even said that in the email that it's been a lot. Obviously, given the circumstances of the pandemic, it was a lot for everyone. So I tried to reach out. I asked for some guidance, how to rectify it. I didn't know what the path forward was because I didn't open a bank account. I can't prove anything because there's nothing there. So I don't even know how to file the reports now with I have to show a balance of 0, but there's no balance to show. Washington Trust account was never reopened under my EIN.
So when you ran for office, did you pass out literature?
No,
What did you
no,
do?
I barely got enough signatures to even be on the ballot. Nobody wanted to talk to me. It was, again, going into it, we didn't know how long it was going to last and what the situation was. Once I got that response, I said, this is not going to work. I mean, I can't run a campaign like
Did you
this.
generate any press releases?
No, nothing.
Make any phone calls?
Nope, not one.
Make any signs?
Nope,
Have volunteers?
no. I sat on my couch like everyone else. Well, according to the order of the governor, we were supposed to stay home.
10 group meetings of any sort?
No, never.
Put an ad in the paper? Nothing?
No. I threw some social media lobs at my Republican opponent because I was an independent, and that was it.
You just basically signed up and
Yep.
did nothing.
Right,
Is that what you're saying?
precisely, yes.
Can I ask a question?
yes.
Yes.
So, Rick, this question is for what you asked. So, are there steps or guidance that we can provide, Mr. Keith, with exactly what you mentioned? Can't go to Washington Trust if a
Right.
account is open. Is there,
It's not uncommon, I mean, there are some smaller races, not so much as state senate race, but where candidates do not raise and spend money, and yet they're still under the same obligation of to register with us and file their reports, and we instruct them. The email I sent to you in January 2021, actually, I provided you the form to file. So again, if you're not raising and spending money, there's no need to open a bank account.
Right.
So it was just a matter of completing the forms with all zeros and then the dissolution, and you would have been done. I mean,
Okay.
and is that similar to what he would have to do now?
yes, correct.
Great, thank you.
After if I may add,
Please.
after I
Yes,
received
please.
the email, I did try to log into the account to digitally do that, but I didn't have access anymore with my original username and password. So the account was reactivated, but my access to it was not also activated. I don't know how that happens either.
Right. Once you dissolve your account, you lose access to that.
Okay.
So that's why I provided you with the forms to apply.
See, Mr. Keith, I got to clarify something over here. When you ran for office, the school committee in 2014, what type of campaign did you have? Did you pass out literature?
Oh, yeah. I had volunteers, signs, literature, the whole 9 yards, but we weren't in the middle of a global
Yeah,
pandemic.
but did you file a report then?
Yes,
Okay. And you closed out that report?
Yes.
Okay. Then we ran for senator in 2016.
yes.
You open up a campaign form then? A
Yes.
campaign account then?
Well, I amended, but yes,
Yeah, and you obviously you paid for campaign literature and
yes.
all the good amounts dealing with the campaign. And did you file the final report then?
So again, I never closed the account until 2018. It was open, and it just continued open. I continued to make the regular report submissions, and that was my confusion. Once I closed it,
So in 2016 and 17 and 18, the account was
always
open,
active, yes.
but you ran for senator in 2018.
20.
Oh, at 18 now on this
Yeah,
list
I
over
did
here.
16, 18, and 20.
Okay.
yeah.
So in 2018, did you spend any money?
No,
Did you raise any money?
no.
So what did you do with that campaign in 2018? Just
Well, I'm sorry.
2018 campaign?
2018, I did, yes.
Yeah,
I raised money, I spent money, I filed all my reports.
You filed all the reports?
Right.
Did you file a final report then?
That's when I closed my account,
You
yes.
closed your account in 2018. So now we're just talking about 2020,
Correct.
the 2020 report. And that's when you said that you really didn't campaign. You just put your name out,
Right.
did nothing.
Right, you've got it, yeah.
Right. I see. So what district are you running from?
I was running for District 27.
What town was that?
That was Cranston, West Warwick.
So did you have an opponent?
Well, I signed on as an independent. There was the incumbent, Hannah Gallo, and Pat Cortellessa, I believe, was a Republican running. And then I ran as an independent.
And you didn't campaign?
No.
And you didn't file any reports after
No.
that? No. Okay. All right, thanks.
Thank you. Commissioner Connors, did you?
Question for Mr. Keith. I don't, if you heard the newly revised staff recommendations, do you feel like it's something that you could do, work with staff, rectify those reports, and pay the fines, or do you still plan on challenging the?
So I believe that the last time that we went over the numbers, it was about $1,200, if I'm not mistaken, between individuals in the office, their time, and also the certified mailings. I think the $2,000 is well within that. I mean, I don't want the taxpayers to burden this fine of sending me certified mail. So, I mean,
But you're prepared to work with
Yes.
Mr. Thornton and get the four, I believe
Absolutely.
it's four, okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Connors. Yeah, and thank you, Rick. I think the headline, if we could have one for everyone, is just always call, because as you can see, once you get it in touch with Rick or Isa, they're gonna just, help you throughout the whole way, and, certainly have great respect for anyone who wishes to engage in the elections process and run a campaign. So thank you for that. And I will open it up for a motion from one of the,
I'll
unless you
make-
have another comment.
No,
Okay.
I'll make the motion to accept staff recommendation, fine of $2,000 payable within 90 days or submitted to collections. Also, file the 4 reports and dissolve the account
In 30 days.
within 30 days.
I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any last further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, abstentions, motion passes. Thank you,
Thank you so
Mr.
much.
Keith.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 5, the board may discuss and vote to reduce penalties imposed upon David J. DeAngelis under Rhode Island General Laws 17-25 and to suspend their campaign finance account for good cause pursuant to Rhode Island rules and regulations 410-RICR-10-00-14, campaign finance accounts receivable, reduction of penalties, and suspension of campaign account. Rick?
Can I first ask if Mr. DeAngelis is here? And if
Oh,
he's not, I know one of the other cases is here.
Okay.
I'd ask
Do you
James
want
Warner.
to, Mr. DeAngelis here? No?
Mr. Douglas D. Simone, which is item number 8,
Okay.
is in attendance. If maybe we could just move the agenda items.
I believe Sanchez is here as well. Do we have Debbie Sanchez here?
D. Simone, okay. And who else? Those two?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ray, do we need, since I already read it, can we,
I
Jump.
think it's a formality, but you should
Okay.
just take a motion just to change the order of the agenda to,
I'll move to take some items out of order on the agenda as recognized by Mr. Thorne.
great. Do you have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded to change the order. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, abstentions? Okay, we'll move to 8, you said,
Yes.
agenda item?
Yes, Douglas D. Simone.
Okay, great. The board may discuss and vote to reduce penalties imposed upon Douglas R. D. Simone under Rhode Island General Laws 17-25 and to suspend their campaign finance account for good cause pursuant to Rhode Island rules and regulations 410-RICR-10-00-14, campaign finance accounts receivable, reduction of penalties, and suspension of campaign account.
Madam Chair, before we
Yes,
begin,
sir.
I just put on the record that we are not,
I-
I'm not
I was
related.
gonna ask.
I was going to ask. I figured you'd disclose if you were. Thank you.
Mr. D. Simone ran for Narragansett Town Council in 2016. During that time, he raised about $2,600, which was all his own money. He self-funded his campaign. Mr. D. Simone was not successful in the campaign. Again, during that time, following the campaign, he became delinquent on 30 reports. We were successful in getting Mr. D. Simone to come into the Board of Elections in March of 2024 to file his two remaining campaign finance reports from 2016 and dissolve his account. And at that time, he appealed for a waiver. The matter was not immediately brought before the board at that time. It was right when we were putting together or authoring this very regulation, because his fines had accumulated to a little over $82,000. Thought it best to let this regulation become adopted, then we can address it at that time. So based on the fact that Mr. DeSimone completed his campaign finance filings, albeit late, he does fall into category 4 of the regulation, which calls for it's a filer who is registered as a candidate for public office, filed a declaration of candidacy, and qualified for placement on the ballot, and also filed all campaign finance reports due within an election cycle, including a final accounting, to dissolve the campaign finance account. So the board may vote to reduce any outstanding penalties to a maximum of $1,000 per report that was filed past its due date. So again, Mr. DeSimone filed the 3 reports, the 2 that were due plus the dissolution. The maximum could be $3,000. My recommendation is half that amount, $1,500. Again, he was not successful. He ran once and he funded his own campaign, did provide a full accounting of that.
Thank you, Rick. Any questions, comments? Yes.
Have you discussed this with Mr. DeSimone?
Mr. DeSimone called just before the start of the board meeting. He was stuck in traffic. I did share with him what my recommendation would be to the board. I also indicated that obviously the board's not bound by my recommendation, but he is here and he's prepared.
Do you want to hear? Yeah. Mr. DeSimone, do you? Oh, sorry. Looking. You were wrong. I know.
I think so.
Good afternoon.
Good
Thank you.
afternoon.
In truth, in a prior life, I was an attorney. I'm not an attorney anymore. I haven't practiced in 25 years. When I lost, I thought I didn't need to file another report because I had lost. I was no longer I wasn't an office holder, but I should know better. I really should. So there came a point in time when, I'm a busy guy. I quite honestly disregarded notices that came, didn't open them. Had no idea that the penalties were this significant. Got to the point, I think, a couple of years ago. I'm reading the newspaper and some fellows got a criminal action against them for not filing reports. I came here that day, talked with Rick and got it all straightened out. But the camp, not that I don't think it matters, but the campaign was self-funded and raised money. I didn't steal money, but I was negligent, grossly negligent in not getting the reports filed. Obviously, I have no objection to this. I brought my checkbook.
Thank you, Mr. DeSimone. Any other questions?
No.
So there's no more reports that have to be filled out?
That's correct.
Perfect.
Okay, all right. And again, thank you. I really, again, have respect for people who engage in the process of democracy. And, thank you for coming here today and for working with the team
Thank
to.
you.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion?
Make the motion to accept staff recommendation, fine $1,500, due within 90 days, or submit to collections.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to accept Rick's recommendation. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, abstention, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DeSimone. And then we are going to agenda item number 10. The board may discuss and vote to reduce penalties imposed upon Davian Sanchez under Rhode Island General Laws 17-25 and to suspend their campaign finance accounts for good cause pursuant to Rhode Island rules and regulations 410-RICR-10-00-14, campaign finance accounts receivable, reduction of penalties, and suspension of campaign account.
Okay, thank you. Davian Sanchez ran for Providence City Council in 2010 and 2014. During that time, there was a total of 55 campaign finance reports that were delinquent. In July of 2024, the campaign finance reports for the 2014 election, his last election, were filed and dissolved. This was a result of an audit. If you recall, that was conducted of Mrs. Sanchez's campaign finance account. So he is now closed. He owes no more reports. He was dissolved as of the end of 2014. He falls into category 4. In that, again, he was a candidate for office. He filed all his campaign finance reports, including a dissolution. The maximum amount would be $1,000 per report. At the time the audit was done, or before the audit was conducted, he was actually, there were 9 unfiled reports, so $1,000 per report, and then he also owed $3,168 in fines for 10 reports that were filed late before the audit, before he dissolved. So the maximum fine would be $12,168. In September of 2024, the board fined Mrs. Sanchez $5,000 for campaign finance violations that were discovered during the audit. According to the consent order, Mr. Sanchez was to pay $2,500, I think the end of June of 25, and then another $2,500 the end of this year, December 31st. He has complied so far. But as far as the delinquencies of the reports, that's a different statute that governs the late filing versus campaign finance violations. So the staff recommendation would be to fine Mr. Sanchez an additional $4,208 based on the 13 reports that were filed late at $250 per report, plus $950 in fines for 6 reports that were under $250. So again, bringing the burden of those reports down to $250 rather than a maximum of $1,000. So again, this figure was arrived at in consideration of the fact that Mr. Sanchez is already obligated for $5,000 in fines. So I think collectively, the fines for the violations plus the fines for the late filing together, I think they're a proportional level given the delinquencies that occurred.
Okay. And have you spoken to
I
Mr.
have
Sanchez since? Okay.
I-
Does anyone have any questions for Rick before we can invite Mr. Sanchez up? Okay, sir. Hi, how you doing?
It's been a while.
Yeah. Anything that you wish to offer?
Yeah. This thing that apparently I signed in 2024 or whatever it is. Excuse me, I'm not like proper.
It's okay. You're good. I'm not proper either. I just read.
So I had an accident, traumatic brain injury. I'm still technically recovering from it. It's been pretty long and hard. A lot of medical bills that I still owe apparently. Memory-wise, I'm forgetting things and so on and so forth, but my background, like my memory is very flashy. So I might remember one thing and not the other, or a moment. And so this paper that I signed, I don't even remember signing it. I do remember coming to pay one time here. The issue I'm having is money-wise, I'm broke, literally. And even like the other 2,500, I might have to sell my car in order to figure things out, just to move things along. I thought this campaign stuff was closed in 2015 and life moved on. And since then I've had 2 kids and trying to just live life. But
Understood.
yeah, I suck at this stuff, I'm sorry.
You're good. Thank you for that. Anyone have any questions for Mr. Sanchez or?
I have a question. Mr. Sanchez, are you working?
Yeah, I'm working.
So where do you work?
Work at Corte Lisa. You'll never know.
What's that, a
It's
restaurant?
a distribution of cookies, basically. I sell cookies to Price Right.
You work a 40-hour week?
Yeah, basically. Say again?
Do you work a 40-hour week? Full?
Yes,
Okay.
more than that. From salary.
And you indicated you had a traumatic brain injury. How did that occur?
I was riding my bike with like 6 people. Unfortunately, I got like 5 different stories. I think medically wise, they're saying I had a seizure. But apparently I was riding and I just closed my eyes and went straight down.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm alive right now is because I had a good helmet.
When did that occur?
2023.
Right. Are you still under doctor's treatment?
No. That stopped in around that time of June 2024 or whatever it is, something like that. Time-wise, it's around there.
Yeah.
Are you glad you're still alive?
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 They say that, but it's, like I said, it's been quite an adventure.
Yeah, can imagine. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Connors or Vice Chair?
I'm sorry, I was going to.
No, go ahead.
No, that's all.
I'll defer.
My question was just, since Mr. Sanchez has been compliant with the former $5,000 fine, would the board be amenable to extending this current fine over a longer period of time than the 90 days?
Well, I was actually going to suggest entering the fine as requested by Mr. Thornton, but holding it in abeyance until he pays the additional, he has an additional fine to pay, right, Rick?
At the end of the year.
Correct.
Until he pays that fine, and if he pays that fine on time, I would consider then waiving the balance of the fine, given his difficulties. But that's, I mean, that would be the motion I would make. I would make a motion to agree to the fine as presented by our staff, hold that fine of $4,208 in abeyance. In the event that he makes the payments on the prior fine that he has, that the board issued, that we would then put this on before the board for either suspension or dismissal of the fine.
Can I ask then, Mr.
Yes.
Sanchez, do you expect to be able to make that other $2,500 payment before December 31st?
Right now, if I was to hold my cards like on the table, to guarantee for that to happen, I would probably sell my car.
Okay.
But I kind of need my car to do my job.
Mhm.
So it's kind of,
Got
I
it.
think you guys call it catch-22, something like that.
Yeah, I think,
Catch 22.
Yeah, no, that's because that's part of what I wanted to ask, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, if we don't make one
Part of
payment.
the issue I have is because of my accident, I lost my job.
Mhm.
Then I got a job, then I lost that job.
Yeah.
And I'm just started more or less working here
Yep.
like 5 months ago.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm in like $30,000-$40,000 in credit card debt, so I'm
Mhm.
trying to survive.
I just think if he can't make the $2,500 payment,
can't expect
he's
this.
not going to be able to make this
No.
payment. So
I agree.
I don't know what the board would consider, or just maybe consider holding this in abeyance and then take it under review in 6 months or something like that. I'd be willing to make that motion as well. I just don't know what this purpose is going to serve by
yeah, we're not in the,
Finding it.
Yeah, and
yeah,
can I ask also, because I don't think it's our place to also ask about your medical conditions. So I just want to say that, but I do want to take into account, especially what you're mentioning about medical, like, can the board or has the board ever taken into account what you mentioned of that there's medical reasons and hardships, specifically when it comes to medical bills and or other debt? Has the board ever taken a place into saying because of medical debt or like we're going to extend or do something different with it? Because again, if there's $2,500 that are still pending, So it's just sort of a question. This is my first time asking this.
It's not.
If we can demonstrate a hardship, what can we do?
Right, just from some of the appeals that I received.
Yeah.
That I can handle administratively, less than $5,000. It's not uncommon to have as the good cause for a late filing, a health issue.
Mhm.
So,
And so what would he have to do to demonstrate that?
um,
Not a health issue, but even just a financial hardship due to medical, like prior medical bills or current medical bills?
I don't ask to look at their financials.
I don't want to
find,
either, yeah.
You know, I take people's stories
Mhm.
as being true.
Yep.
And Mrs. Sanchez communicated much of these same issues during the,
He's a minister.
working on the consent order for the audit. So, you know, I'm happy to entertain any adjustment that the board
Mhm.
would consider
Yeah,
on the amount.
from my memory, it seems like when you have financial hardship, the more common way to address it is on the amount that's paid on it. So it might be much less over an extended period of time. I mean, that I remember us doing.
Mhm.
And then if it does get continued, despite what Rick said about, not looking for the records, once it goes from staff assessment over to the board, it would be good, I think necessary, because you have many, many people who come before you,
That's true.
to have some documentation to
Mhm.
support this claim so that we have
More records.
basically a factual predicate
Yeah.
to support it.
Back to you.
So Ray, if we held,
You can do that.
Fine.
You can
And then-
hold it.
just basically ask for
Documentation
whatever
that,
documentation he can provide,
Right.
through Rick's office.
right, and we could then, now that we know what the issues would be, especially if it's going to be something that deals with a personal medical condition, we would, I'll look over the Access to Public Records Act.
Yeah.
It's, in my
I don't
view,
want to, right.
that would not normally be something that would be public. It could
Right,
even actually be needed to be an executive session
Right. We
with
don't
respect to
mean-
that one component.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We wouldn't mean for this to be invasive and to go off what the commissioner said to your life, but
So can
I
we
see.
move to continue the whole matter, item 10, in full?
That seems to be a reasonable approach.
And I'll suggest for 60 days, for 2 months,
That's
to our next meeting in 2 months,
yeah.
That's
whatever that regularly scheduled meeting is.
January. January.
January.
First Tuesday. Sorry.
That would be January 6th.
So I'll suggest continuing item 10 to January 6th for some contact with Rick to give him some documentation of what you said as far as your hardship. Be that
What is it?
either medical or financial, whatever you choose.
I can show you my credit cards right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, yes, right,
No, but
yes,
if
no,
you
we
would-
don't need to do
Yeah,
that.
no,
This is
well,
there.
so we won't
Yes, yes,
put
that is
anything on that, you can work with Rick and
open
meetings. He'll let us know one way or the other and we can make that final ruling then, but certainly, sorry for what you've had to go through and I'm glad that, you're working and want to keep
Moving forward,
staying
yeah.
that course and move forward. Yeah. Thank you. Yes, sir.
I was just going to add, I know it's not on the agenda, but clearly the consent order may be a burden as well. I don't know if that's something we maybe not be able to consider today, but maybe for December to extend that time frame in the payment for December,
Yeah.
pending a conversation.
Yeah.
That way, Mr. Sanchez could have more time to figure out. Obviously, we don't want you to have to lose your job because you don't have a car. So I think maybe considering that, if we can
So-
put that on for December.
Yeah,
if
so
that's
maybe
okay.
if Mr. Sanchez is able to provide something before our December meeting, then we can consider it. Would that be possible?
Yeah, it most likely would be an executive session that you
Yeah.
would then have the opportunity to
And
review and
just to be
discuss
clear,
it.
I was specifically speaking about the 2,500 payment for the consent
Mhm.
order.
What
This-
what's owed.
The other,
Mhm.
waiting 60 days or 90 days for the other matter is fine.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I think
So Rick, you can reach
That
out
was
to
that.
him.
Got it.
Is that a second? You need a second?
Yes, we need a second. Can you restate the?
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm just actually moving to continue the matter, item 10, to the January meeting, for further status and to give, Mr. Thorne an opportunity to discuss the matter, and get some documented information on both his health concerns and/or his financial concerns.
Thank you.
And I second it.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, abstentions? And that motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Sanchez.
Just a quick question. You guys mind telling me what just happened?
Yeah. You can tell me.
We continued it for a couple of months till January.
Okay.
Give you a chance to discuss it with our staff again. Let them know what your specific issues are.
So
And
I gotta contact him and let him know.
correct.
Yeah, just work
Let
with
them know
Rick.
what your specific issues are.
Yeah.
We'll revisit it in January, at least as far as I'm concerned, with an eye towards giving you a break on these fines.
I appreciate that.
And in the meantime, now that nothing else will accrue, it's, it's just gonna,
Yeah, I thought
We,
this
we,
was
we don't,
closed.
we don't want you to have to lose your job
No.
or start selling items where you can't go to work.
no,
They keep calling me because I was supposed to be at work right now. Okay.
yeah,
All right.
okay. But definitely connect with Rick and we'll get it, worked through. Okay.
Thank you, Ethan.
Thanks, Isa.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Sanchez.
Do we need any sort of motion to put for the next agenda, or that'll just automatically be on the next agenda?
Oh, no, the number,
And you know-
we go back to number 5, right?
No, I'm
That-
sorry, I'm just talking about the consent order. If we want to discuss modifying the terms of the consent order, which I think we should for December, because
Yeah.
otherwise I'll have to make a payment, which is past before the 60 days, if that's okay.
That makes sense.
So I don't know if we need it, we probably don't need a motion, but it's just gonna be on the next
To
agenda.
add it to the agenda,
Yeah, for the next.
you can make that motion. I mean, I think you're at the point where you might want to add onto your agenda as one of your last items. Just an open thing that says additional items for future meetings, so that all of the board members can then say, you know what, at a future meeting, I would like to have the following discussed.
Sure.
And then you can take a vote and make sure that's added to the agenda. So, but on this one, you could do that, Mr. Jackbone. You could make a motion to add this to the December agenda.
Okay, so I will make a motion to add to the December agenda discussing the potential modification of Mr. Sanchez's current consent order, the payment due and the plan, pending, of course, information from Rick on his further discussions with him.
Second.
Thank you. Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, abstentions? That motion passes. And now we'll move back to agenda item number 5. The board may discuss and vote to reduce penalties imposed upon David J. DeAngelis under Rhode Island General Laws 17-25 and to suspend their campaign finance account for good cause pursuant to Rhode Island Rules and Regulations 410-RICR-10-00-14, campaign finance accounts receivable, reduction of penalties, and suspension of campaign account. And just a question for council with these, that no one else is here for any of the other. Okay, so we'll just hear from Rick.
Sounds
Ask
that way.
questions
I'm
and
not
then a
aware
motion.
either. I'm
They
not
don't-
aware if anybody else is,
Right.
no one else is here.
They were all notified,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay,
Mr. Excuse me, Mr. DeAngelis ran for Jamestown Town Council in 2005 and 2007. In 2005, Mr. DeAngelis filed his reports, dissolved his account. In 2007, he did not file any campaign finance reports. Number of unfiled reports is 48, including the 4 for the 2007 election. The total outstanding fines and fees as of today, $442,858. The maximum fine would be $20,000 based on the fact that he falls into category 2 of the regulation, which again places him as a candidate for office. He was on the ballot. He failed to file one or more campaign finance reports within the cycle. So the board and remains active with the office. So the board may vote to reduce the fine to a maximum of $1,000 per delinquent report due to the second election cycle next following the cycle in which he was a candidate. I did have some communication with Mr. DeAngelis after he received notice. That caused me to look further into very old emails where it was communicated to him back in, I went and I actually pulled the non-compliance notices that were sent to him in 2007. Again, when he resided in Jamestown. Shortly after the 2007 election, he left Jamestown, did not provide us information where he relocated. It did take us a while to locate Mr. DeAngelis in Portsmouth, Rhode Island. And again, he received notice of the multiple fines at that point through the 2018 time period. There was some email communication, which again, he indicated to me that he did not raise or spend money. The town committee was supposed to take care of his filings, which they generally it's still the candidate's responsibility, not the town committee's. I asked him to file the reports that were required, reminded him he was still required to file the reports, pretty similar to the previous case you heard on Mr. Keith. And he did not do so. Again, my recommendation, similar to that of Mr. Keith, would be to fine him just the $2,000 for reports at $500 per report, provided he filed the 4 reports and dissolve the account. Again, this opportunity is available to him because I do have the email communication where he indicated he did not raise or spend any money. But again, failing to do that, he would be obligated for $250 for each of those 20 reports, consistent with the category 2 of the regulation, or $5,000. And Mr. DeAngelis is not here. I have not informed him of this recommendation.
Any questions for Rick?
So Rick, when was the last time you had communication with him?
By phone call a few weeks ago. He was, I would say, admittedly upset of the amount. And again, I informed him that the whole purpose of the regulation was to reduce the amount to a proportional level, and that he had not completed his filing obligations with the board.
And what was his response?
He indicated something about it was a turn to 10 moment, so.
Turn to what?
A turn to 10 moment.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. All right.
So we do have, though, the authority to take a vote because he's aware
Yeah,
of.
he had full notice.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
He is not here. He's absent, but you have the right to take your vote on this matter at this time.
And is he notified by like certified mail or by a call afterwards?
We send both first class and certified mail.
Thank you.
And Rick, the email you said that, where he said he didn't raise anything, when was that? Was that back in the 07 timeframe
That
or
was
some other?
actually all the way in 2019. Again, once he left.
2019.
Yes, once he left Jamestown, it was, we had a hard time locating him until, again, unfortunately, 2019.
I would make a motion.
Someone wish to make a motion?
I would make a motion. Make a motion that we accept the staff recommendation of the fine of $2,000. The fine due within 90 days with the failure to pay in full within 90 days, resulting in the referral of any unpaid amount to the Rhode Island Department of Revenue, Central Collections Unit for debt collection and suspension of the account.
Thank you.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, abstentions? The motion passes.
Can I ask a
Yeah, of course.
question? The recommendation was the 2,000, but if he doesn't file the
Yeah, we
report,
didn't see that in our papers.
I'm
I
sorry.
just saw they had that. Yeah,
Right.
our paper doesn't.
It doesn't
have
say
in the
that.
part.
I'm sorry. Yeah, this was modified.
You want to read that?
today, if
Do you
want.
want,
The
I can modify my motion
Mhm.
to include, you want me to reread? To
Just the
start the whole
top.
motion over?
Sure.
Okay, fine $2,000, provided the 4 reports are, and dissolve account within 30 days, unless else there would be 20 reports at $250 equal $5,000. The fine is due within 90 days with the failure to pay in full within 90 days, resulting in referral of the unpaid amount to the Rhode Island Department of Revenue, Central Collections Unit for debt collection and suspension of the account.
Madam
Thank
Chair,
you.
before you get a second on that, just for a point of clarification, when the recommendation says if you don't pay within 90 days, resulting in referral in any unpaid amount, pay in full within 90 days. What is the unpaid amount? Is that the, can you just clarify for the board, is that the 20,000?
No, it would be the amount of the staff
5,000.
recommendation. So,
5,000?
yes.
Second.
Second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, abstentions, motion passes. Agenda item number 6, the board may discuss and vote to reduce penalties imposed upon John A. Salona under Rhode Island General Laws 17-25 and to suspend their campaign finance account for good cause pursuant to Rhode Island Rules and Regulations 410-RICR-10-00-14, campaign finance accounts receivable, reduction of penalties, and suspension of campaign account. You're up. Again.
John Salona served in the General Assembly from 1995 into 2004. The slide indicates he ran for Senate in 2002. That was the last time he ran for public office. He filed his campaign finance reports through the end of the year 2003. At that time, he had a remaining cash balance of $53,554.80 and no loans payable. I'm sure as you're aware, Mr. Salona served time in both federal and state prison for misusing his public office for personal gain. He stopped filing his reports after the 2003 period. The 89 unfiled reports has resulted in a total outstanding fines and fees as of today of $670,327. That places him in category 3, essentially where he filed, he was a candidate. He filed all his reports for the election, but failed to provide a final accounting or dissolve his account. And so the maximum fine would be the 16 reports times $1,000 per report, plus the remaining fund balance of $53,554.80 or $69,554.80. Now, beginning in July 2015, Mr. Salona has been paying the Board of Elections $20 weekly towards his fines. That amount was not directed by this office or by the board. He's been doing that voluntarily. It mirrors what he has been paying the Central Collections Unit for an ethics, very large ethics fine for those transgressions. So as of October 28, 2025, Mr. Salona has paid $10,350 to the Board of Elections in fines. My recommendation would be to set the fine at $51,204.80, which is the 16 reports at $500 per report, plus the fund balance. Again, that by the regulation converts to a collectible debt, minus the amount that he's already paid on account. And that would leave the total of $51,204.80. I have spoken to Mr. Salona. Again, he is used to paying the $20 per week. I instructed him that provided he cannot pay the amount in the fine amount in full, which I fully expect him not to be able to do that, he will have the ability to resume his $20 per week payments with the Central Collections Unit as he is with the ethics fine, and they will work with him on that. So that would be my recommendation.
Okay, so this total fine, though, that would take longer than 90 days, right? So
Yes,
that's-
I
but
fully
you-
expect him not to be able to.
Okay. Okay.
Rick, does he have the award of being the person with the largest fine?
As far as the 670?
Yeah.
No, one of the cases that you heard first, Patrick McDonald was the highest.
Right, so he's second highest.
Pretty close, yeah.
So if he's paying $20 a week, and he continues to pay that,
47 years.
yeah,
We just did them.
that's right. Just going to see, how old is he?
I didn't ask that question.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's not ask personal questions.
70s, yeah, so.
Um,
okay, so it's-
So any other questions, or does someone wish to make a motion? Question? Yes.
When you say the remaining fund balance is added into the fund, is that amount actually still in an account in?
No, that money, he just cannot provide an accounting for that. The account is closed, the money was spent. I know there was some, again, going way back, there was some media coverage where he did acknowledge some of that money was used for personal use. But because he could not provide a final accounting, again, by the regulation, it's assumed to be used for personal and therefore collectible as part of the debt.
Because if that money was still in a campaign.
That's correct.
Would that be able to be
Pay.
applied, or would he still be permanent?
No, you cannot use campaign money to pay fines. I mean, if he could provide a final accounting to show how that money was spent, then that would no longer be a collectible debt. But he's not able to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, he'd be,
He's not
Yeah.
able to make any reports.
That's correct.
he would have been advised not to make those anyway.
Got it.
This was a result of a long-time criminal matter as well.
Just looked it up.
Okay. Any other questions,
see,
or
Rick-
does someone wish to make a
Rick,
motion?
did we know what bank he was doing, had his accounts at?
I did not look that up at that time. When he was in office, it was prior to the law being passed where the candidates had to have a separate account. We were not collecting bank statements at that time. So I don't have that information.
Is there a way to get copies of the bank statements to
I
subpoena the
know
bank?
banks hold records for 7 years. We're
Yeah.
well beyond that. I do also know as part of the investigation that his records were seized
Okay.
by the federal authorities.
Right. Okay, thanks.
I'll make a motion to accept the staff recommendation of a fine of $51,204.80. I'm going to the math there. Fine due within 90 days with the failure to pay in full within 90 days, resulting in referral to any unpaid amount of that staff recommended fine to the Rhode Island Department of Revenue Central Collections Unit for debt collection, as well as suspension of the account. And I think that's all. That's a form of a motion.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, abstention, motion carries. Agenda item number 7, the board may discuss and vote to reduce penalties imposed upon Grant Ezra Metz under Rhode Island General Laws 17-25 and to suspend their campaign finance account for good cause pursuant to Rhode Island Rules and Regulations 410-RICR-10-00-14, campaign finance accounts receivable, reduction of penalties, and suspension of campaign account.
Mr. Metz ran for Providence City Council in 2014. During that time, he filed all the reports for the 2014 election. However, there were 39 reports in total following the election that he did not file. He stopped filing first quarter 2018. So he did file the reports for the 2014 election, but stopped filing at the first quarter 2018. 39 reports are delinquent, including 29 unfiled reports, meaning during the time when he was filing, 10 of those reports he filed were filed late. Total fines and fees as of today, $80,204. He is in category 3. Again, he was a candidate for office. He filed all the reports for his election, but failed to provide a final accounting and close out his campaign account. So the maximum fine would be $7,605.74, representing The three unfiled reports following for the balance of the election cycle at $1,000 per report, plus $42.38 in fines for 10 delinquent reports, each under $1,000, and the remaining fund balance of $367.74. So my recommendation would be to, rather than the $1,000 per report, reduce it to $500 per report. And the 10 delinquent reports, cap that at $250 per report as well. So the fine would be $38.78.74, due within 90 days. Failure to pay referred to debt collection.
Thank you, Rick.
See, Rick, have you had contact with Mr. Metz about this?
We have not. I've not been successful in contacting him. He was notified of the meeting, as were the others, but we have not had any contact from him.
Any other questions, or does someone wish to make a motion?
I move that we accept the staff recommendation of a fine of $3,878.74 to be paid within 90 days. And if not paid within 90 days, to refer to the central collection unit and including the suspension of his account.
Great, moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, abstentions, motion passes. The board may discuss, and agenda item number 9, the board may discuss and vote to reduce penalties imposed upon Tina B. Jackson under Rhode Island General Laws 17-25 and to suspend their campaign finance account for good cause pursuant to Rhode Island Rules and Regulations 410-RICR-10-00-14, campaign finance accounts receivable, reduction of penalties, and suspension of campaign account.
Okay. Tina Jackson ran for state representative in 2012. She filed just her 28-day before election report. During that time, she raised over $9,000, spent about $5,800. She loaned her campaign $2,500. So as of her last report that she filed of October 9, 2012, she had an ending cash balance of $3278.96, leaving a fund balance, the cash balance minus the loan she made to her campaign, of $743.40. There are 54 reports that remain unfiled, including the 3 for the 2012 election, which she did lose. The fines and fees as of today, $257,726. She is in category number 2, where again, she was a balloted candidate. She filed some, in this case one, but some but not all reports for that campaign cycle, and her account remains open and active with the board. So the maximum fine would be 19 reports times $1,000 per report plus the fund balance, or $19,743.40. My recommendation is to, rather than the $1,000 per report, to set that at $500 report for those 19 reports plus the fund balance. So the maximum fine would be reduced to $10,243.40. We have, again, she was notified of the meeting today. We have not had any communication with her.
Thanks, Rick.
See, Rick, when was the last time you had communication with Ms. Jackson?
I don't know exactly. There was a point quite a few years ago. She actually came into the office just very briefly, and we told her how much she was in arrears, said she'd take care of it, and never heard from her again. And she has relocated several times. Again, part of the challenge of this is oftentimes when they're not communicating with you and not keeping current with their reports is to locate them, and we keep getting mail bounce back to us, unclaimed mail and so forth. So,
But you have her current address.
yes,
And she's been notified in writing about this.
that's correct.
Commissioner Jackaloni, are you going to make a motion?
Yes, I'll make a motion to accept the staff recommendation of a fine of $10,243.40 fine due within 90 days, and failure to pay within 90 days result in the referral of that amount, unpaid amount rather, to the Central Collections Unit of the Rhode Island Department of Revenue and suspension of the campaign account.
Moved and seconded by Commissioner Connors. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Agenda item number 11, the board may discuss and vote to reduce penalties imposed upon Leonidas Medina under Rhode Island General Laws 17-25 and to suspend their campaign finance account for good cause pursuant to Rhode Island Rules and Regulations 410-RICR-10-00-14, campaign finance accounts receivable, reduction of penalties, and suspension of campaign account.
Mr. Medina ran for state representative in 2004, 2010, and 2012. Mr. Medina stopped filing his campaign finance reports as of September 4, 2012, which is a 7-day before primary report for that election. He has presently 52 delinquent reports, including the 2 reports due for the 2012 election. He lost that primary. The outstanding fines and fees as of today, $249,479. The maximum fine is $19,150, which is based on the 2 reports plus for the 2012 election plus 2 election cycles times $1,000 per report. Plus, he has outstanding $1,150 in fines for 4 reports that were filed late prior to his period where he just stopped filing. I want to note to the board that in a public hearing on October 6, 2010, Mr. Medina appealed $55,357 in fines and fees for the delinquent filing of 26 campaign finance reports due during the 2004 through 2010 periods when he was a candidate. The board voted to reduce the amount to $5,000, and he did pay that. So Mr. Medina has a history with noncompliance. Immediately following that, again, he ran in 2012 and again, just stopped filing. So the staff recommendation is the 18 reports at $500 a report rather than the $1,000, plus $1,150 in fines for a total of $10,150.
Thanks, Rick.
Rico, when was the last time you had communications with Mr. Medina?
We have not had any recent communication with Ms. Medina. Again, letters, first
Informed.
class and certified were sent to him notifying of this, but he has not responded. We have not communicated with him.
So you have his home address and letters were
That's
sent out
correct,
to
yes.
And I'll make a motion to accept the fine recommendation from the staff of $10,150, fine due within 90 days. Failure to pay within 90 days will result to a referral to the Rhode Island Department of Revenue Central Collections Unit and suspension of the campaign account.
Thank you.
I
Do we have a
second
second?
it. I second it.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Agenda item number 12, the board may discuss and vote to reduce penalties imposed upon Michael James Rollins under Rhode Island General Laws 17-25 and to suspend their campaign finance account for good cause pursuant to Rhode Island Rules and Regulations 410-RICR-10-00-14, campaign finance accounts receivable, reduction of penalties, and suspensions of campaign account.
Okay. Mr. Rollins ran for city council in 2004, state representative in 2008, school committee in 2010, and state senator in 2012. In 2004, Mr. Rollins filed the affidavit for filing exemption, again, where he indicated at the time he was not going to accept more than $100 from a single source or spend more than $1,000 during the campaign. Thereafter, at the end of the campaign, he was required to file a summary report for the 2004 election. He failed to do that. He had a fire, which he asked for an extension to file, and I provided him an extension. He was still not able to file his reports and just never filed again. I know in a periodical or a newspaper, he indicated that it was, his lack of filing was in protest for the fact that he was not given a longer extension to file his 2004 summary. But again, he has not filed for any of those 4 elections he's run. So the number of unfiled reports is 90, including the annual summary for 2004, plus 4 election reports each for 2008, 10, and 12. The total outstanding fines as of today, $699,772. He is in category 2, where, again, he was on the ballot in each of those elections, and at least in the first case, he filed 1 report but did not complete his filings. So the maximum fine is those 55 reports times $1,000 per report. On January 11, 2012, again, this was prior to running for state senator in 2012. He appeared before the board to appeal for a waiver of $77,802 in fines and fees assessed him for not filing 32 campaign finance reports at that time from the 2004 annual summary through 2011 third quarter. The board voted unanimously to deny his appeal. My recommendation would be for the 13 election reports to fine him the $1,000 per report. So to reduce the fine from a maximum of $55,000 to $13,000, again, due within 90 days, referable to the CCU if not paid.
And have you had contact?
He's been
Mhm.
contacted. He
Okay.
he refused the certified letter that was sent to him.
Okay.
So,
So Rick, how are you handling the $77,802 fine, which he appealed, but the board rejected that?
again, that is rolled into this amount. I mean, that at that point, that's what the fine was through that period of time, with the new reports that became due and owing for the 2012 election, plus new accruals on the reports that he had appealed back in 2012. They are continuing to accrue. So no monies was ever collected on that. So that $77,802 is part of the $699,772.
Can I ask a question? Because I'm trying to figure this out. So Mr. Rollins and Mr. Solona are similar but different. So Solona is a category 3 and Rollins is a category 2. Category 2 is because they've never filed,
Well,
right?
in his case, he filed the 1 report.
1 report.
Yes.
And then Solona he did file reports as well. So it's that, the difference is that Solona has, because Solona's fine is so much bigger, even with your recommendation. I guess that's part of why I'm trying to figure out, right? Like they're both very large outstanding fines.
Right.
How, I think I just got stuck, or just we've had so many of these that I can't figure out why one is bigger than the other.
Right. Well, Mr.
Sorry.
Salone's fine is, part of the reason his is so large is
Mhm.
because he had the fund balance, the $53,000
Because of
plus
what's there.
remaining in his campaign
Got it.
account that was
Okay.
unaccounted for.
So because we don't know what Rollins has, and we won't have access to that at all anymore. Is
That's
that what you're
correct.
saying?
That's correct.
Got it. Thank you. That's very lucky for him.
Madam Chair, I just have a question for
Yes,
council.
sir.
Ray, do we have to do anything different because of the fact that the board imposed the 77,000 previously and refused to limit it?
I don't believe
Should we
so.
be handling
We
it?
haven't really put on the record the basis. Do you remember what the basis was for the denial? But to answer your question, that would not bind you, especially since that preceded our general assessment, which was in 2013, that some of these fines were just becoming unconstitutional, disproportionate. But I don't remember. Do you, Rick?
I
Do you have
have
any
the min-
record as to why it was denied
don't
back in
spec-
2012?
I don't specifically. The minutes just refer to a lengthy discussion with the board and that they denied.
But that would not limit your ability to do so now.
Can I ask another question? So,
Mhm.
because you mentioned that Mr. Rollins has publicly said on the newspaper, is that like, at a protest. He's just not willing to pay this. So let's say he doesn't pay within 90 days and this goes to the central collection, he will have no option other than, as long as he's receiving some type of check.
That's great. The central collections unit can work out a payment plan with him, but the central collections unit also can garnish wages and
Okay,
do attachments and things like that. They have more ability than we would.
got it. So if they're not able to also contact him, they can just decide on their own what they can garnish.
That's correct.
Even if like his only check is a social security, they can garnish from a social security?
Or liens on property, things like that.
They would have to get a judgment.
Yeah.
So and
Okay.
I've done that for the board years ago now, but you first have to get a judgment. So you have to go before a court and get a basis for the collection of that amount of money.
To garnish wages, you mean?
Then you would, so after the judgment is done, then you would do
Mhm.
post-judgment proceedings for either garnishment of wages,
Or liens, yeah.
putting something on the title of a house, a
Mhm.
judgment on the house.
Wow.
But all of that would be after the judgment.
Mhm.
And he would, of course, have an opportunity to be heard at that time before a judge.
Okay, thank you.
He would have full notice of it.
Okay.
I'll make the motion to accept the staff recommendation for Michael James Rollins, fine in the amount of $13,000 due within 90 days with failure to pay, referral to central collections, and suspension of the account.
I think.
Thank you, Commissioner. Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, abstentions, motion passes. Agenda item number 13, the board may vote to convene an executive session regarding investigations into allegations of misconduct, either civil or criminal, in accordance with Rhode Island General Laws 42-46-5, subsection A, subsection 4, in 3 matters. And do I have a motion to convene an executive session?
I have a quick
Yeah.
question before we get to that.
Of course.
For Rick, if possible. I know you mentioned last month we were getting,
Bless
we were
you.
whittling this list of large debts down. Are we getting any closer to that?
We probably have another 8 to 10.
Okay.
Wow.
That's
I
not
want to
bad.
look at I want a thermometer of the.
That's not bad.
Thank you.
Yes,
That's-
thank
I
you.
just saw the list of the current.
No, that's
And then
okay.
I'll make the motion to move into executive session. Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstentions, motion carries. We will convene executive session. Hey, what do I do now, Ray? I can't brain dead. Motion to seal the minutes of executive session and resume open session.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, abstentions? The ayes have it. Now, may I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
You need to
And-
report.
Oh,
No?
Nothing
Nothing
to
to
report
seal.
out into open session at this
Okay.
time.
great.
Motion to adjourn.
Moved and seconded by everyone. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, abstentions? The ayes have it. We are adjourned at 6:28 PM.